When Africans celebrate white weddings, in which the bride and groom wear European clothes, and they go to church or they're in the mosque or in the synagogue to do a ceremony, they are thus telling the whole world that they are fully colonized and they don't care about their own African culture. They will be pouring scorn on their own culture. Righteous ancestors and divinities who established heterosexual marriages and solemnizing it before there was any European, Indian or Asian on earth 3.5 billion years ago. We are here to feed our souls through knowledge of our culture. From the PDF that we received from Ipet Isut Imbizo, East, West, North, South International, Papyrus, Volume 17, Number 9, 8th edition, What is Grecian Culture, Asili and Value? We want to look at a couple of valuable African cultural facts given in this PDF. We ask you to get in touch with Ipet Isut to get the whole PDF, which is very, very rich. You can also send us an email on john@marifado.com if you want to connect with us. Men and dominant human beings are the originators of culture, of technology that preserves nature, of music, speech, and art. Others copy from us. African languages carry a tone, a sound, a frequency that includes more than having one meaning for a single word or a sign. Included here is the writing styles that came from ancient Africa before any European could know that there is something called writing or alphabet. You need to learn to speak one indigenous or more indigenous languages and use them in all your deepest times of thinking. African attire, when made by the community and is worn by the community and members of the community, communicates what our ancient ancestors did and what they aspired and what they left for us. Do you know that the oldest clothes today are found from Africa? The world's oldest dress, trousers and shirt were found in Hamid, and they are 5,000 years old. They are still intact, and this is the tomb where they were found, and these are the dresses, and the material is still intact. Very, very important to understand that. So scarification, from MR Imhotep here, we learn that you should have noticed that Hollywood regularly draws inspiration from African cultures for many of its movies. Here you can see a Star Trek character created based on scarification techniques from some of the Central African tribes. In Africa, scarification is used for medical, for religious or aesthetic purposes. The earliest evidence of facial piercings is found in Africa 12,000 years ago in a tomb, and these are the signs. We know that others have come now and they've hijacked and they now do piercings without the real origins, understanding the origins and purpose of scarification. We look at the origins of African melanin dominant people whose mitochondrial DNA is older and is the oldest than any group on earth. We have to use that knowledge. We have to absorb it and study a lot about it. It is very clear that African populations and the evolution of human mitochondrial DNA is the one that populated the whole earth. And you can see the darkest people are found here within the equator. And we have the skin pigmentation of melanin dominant, which is the oldest skin pigmentation ever and the strongest and the most beautiful skin pigmentation that you can ever have on this planet, especially considering the effects and the impact of the sun. We also want to look at astronomy. Ancient Africans and sages and thinkers observed the laws of the cosmos and the nature. They were the first ones to understand the cycles of nature. And they never followed any man-made religions or any type or any kind of philosophy other than African deep thought philosophy or trance philosophy, not meditation but trance philosophy, which involves you knowing your stars that come every lunar year that you gain, not solar year, and that each year adds up and gives you more power, and astronomy connects you to the infinite source of our souls. For all the reasons that you can have and for all the doubts that can carry you across back to places and religions and philosophies that do not benefit you, you must remember one fact: melanin dominant culture is the oldest culture on the earth. Yes, 3.5 billion years old. It is the original and the authentic culture. It is under siege today, and a lot of forces are fighting it, and they've been fighting it to destroy it, to water it down, and to make it poor. Now, when it comes to health, African herbs and health were used to heal the earth and also to heal the individuals and communities. The greatest healer from all time, who was a human being that walked the earth and later was deified into a divinity, is Imutepo. Some they call him Imhotep, but his name is Imutepo. He was the high priest of the sun god Ra and the first physician in history whose name we know today. You have heard of Hippocrates or Hippocrate, who was a Greek physician who was considered as the father of medicine, but he learned about diseases from Imutepo and read a lot of it. He only rose up after Imutepo, and it is very, very clear that we are the original people who started diagnostic medicine and also how to heal, how to fix bones, teeth, hair, the mind, the brain, and casting out devils. Imhotep was also the chief architect of ancient Egyptian Djoserra. He was also responsible for the building of the first known step pyramid at Saqqara. What about your diet? What about what you eat? What about what you sniff? What about your knowledge? Who is your healer? Have you ever visited a real priest for diagnostic at a physical as well as a spiritual level? You need to understand that Kemetic priesthood continues in modern day Africa today. And they are the ones that establish the methods that give what is known as holistic medicine or holistic healing and individualized medicine. So in ancient Africa, we knew how to feed ourselves. And we never were hungry because nature supplied our food, and we also supplemented nature through our farming. So the question is, who is feeding you? Whose food are you eating? Whose food is your dominant food? Is it African or European food? Just like those we saw in the wedding. Are you addicted to Asian food? Are you addicted to European food? Are you addicted to Mexican food, which is Spanish food, European foods anyway? So you need to think about this in a very systematic method and start to go to a natural diet that connects you to your ancient ancestry and connects you to your genetic disposition or the bloodline. In ancient Africa, the marriage system was in effect for over 69,000 years on record, the records that we have. An African man would have 2 or more mates and wives, which is our culture. There was no oddity about that. It was more heterosexual marriages and heterosexual mating. There was no other option. At the same time, we want to look at the hairstyle of ancient Africans. We know that ancient hair braids or braiding or dreadlocks is and was the culture. It was the culture of melanin dominant people. Today we see melanin recessive people putting legal impediments to stop us and to prevent us from wearing dreadlocks and observing our culture. So we need to fight this and win this war so that we can liberate our hair and we can wear any hairstyle that we need other than the European hairstyles, but our own hairstyles. We see women today putting weaves, buying hair from India, making business rich in South Korea, yet their own hair is the best and the special hair that they should groom. And Africans and the modern Africans can dance. Melanin recessive people have tried to copy our dancing, but they failed. They end up doing gymnastics and other sports, while they should dance, natural dance. But because they do not have cosmic order in their dancing, they disturb the vibrations of dancing. Do you dance daily? Do you love natural African music? We have produced great dancers. Michael Jackson, Jim Brown, Hakisha here, great dancers. So this is our own culture that we need to establish so that we can continue to dance and enjoy life. The African traditional art of wearing or making beads or cowrie shells and wearing them is our culture. and some may call it African jewelry. It does have a purpose and meaning. However, such meaning and purpose is not for public consumption. It is only cited here so that you can know that it's there in the papyri. But it is a powerful aspect of our culture to wear specific cowrie shells and beards. You can see here African men who are wearing beards and cowrie shells, which is Mahatic balance. It's an ancient art. It came from ancient times. It predates Hamid, and we still do it today, as shown in these pictures and images. Also, it is connected with the priestly work, and there is more to it than what meets the eye. When you look at secret societies that are running this world, you may think that they originated in Europe or in Asia or some other place, but they originated with melanin dominant human priests. Are you interested in belonging to an original secret society? If yes, get in touch with us. We will share some information about that to individuals. This image here is an image of Mareruka in his mastaba in Hamid in ancient Egypt, the original Grand Master of Masons and father to what we now call Freemasonry. You can read the book by Ashra Kwesi, The African Origin of Western Freemasonry, and there are many other books that are of the same type. So this is what they don't want you to know, that they copied step by step everything that they do in Freemasonry, and they wear black. Freemason tribute to melanin, exactly left foot forward, Mekesh, and Osenditi, and the Heka, as well as Usekaf, the collar, and the Nyemes. So these are the things and the items that you should understand when it comes to Freemasonry. What about backpacks? The African melanin dominant people and our culture, we used to wear backpacks 5,000 years ago, and today it's popular in the whole world, but it came from melanin dominant human beings. It is our culture, it is our way. The handbags and fashion and dreadlocks, everything came from our culture. It is our culture, and we must practice our culture. So this is very, very critical, and we can continue because the Ipeti Isut Cosmos Imbizo East, West, North, South International Papyri that we are dealing with here is chock-a blocker full of valuable information. Please, if you want to get more of it, send them an email at ipetpotolo@gmail.com and request this PDF that we are dealing with here. They sent you a copy and it's readily available to you. So shared black African culture in West Africa, in Kushite Kemetic civilization. It's also shown here as a Kemetic lady carrying goods on her head, 2500 BCE. This is Eton College Maya's collection. And you can see a Fulani lady carrying goods on her head in Nigeria. Everywhere in Africa, this is how women carry their goods. To learn more about your own culture, understand about your own secret societies that you should belong to, that you should subscribe to, do not hesitate to send us an email at join@marfado.com. When you don't know your own history, anybody can fool you. Do not be fooled. African culture is the original and is the best, and it is for you. You must live African culture and enjoy it. Yes, you can send us an email on join@marfado.com if you have got any questions and suggestions and contributions and thoughts that you think you need to share with us. Subscribe to our channel Hamid Hebrew Ethics, like this video, share and leave a comment. Yohama Neja Topi, Priest Teacher Rabbi LM Tumizulu Kunikenim Jakanja Mskabanu, saying our African culture and the factors connecting it gives us the true history and the fulfillment of our life on earth forevermore. Amen.